everyone, and welcome to another episode of Backstage Pass. I'm Samantha Powell, and that's Barnard, and we're just a few weeks away from InfoComm. So excited. I can't believe it's almost here. Sorry again, Ben, that you won't be there to join me, but how was your weekend?
It was good. Obviously, a pleasure to see you again, Sam. I think, do you know what? For the first time in a while, we've had matching long weekends, right? Because you had, is it Memorial Day weekend?
It definitely was Memorial Day. Loved it, enjoyed it, cooked out, barbecued, all the things. What did you do? And what holiday was it for you?
So ours was just like a bank holiday. We have these bank holidays. So we get 8 per year. Sometimes 9, depending on when Christmas Day falls.
Okay.
And I don't really know. I think the tradition is like banks would traditionally close on those days. And so no business would happen because people couldn't drop their money off at banks. So they've just remained as holidays, kind of like public holidays. So yeah, it was really good. So Friday, I took the day off because so it was my birthday last month, but we went to a wedding. And that was actually on my birthday. So my girlfriend very kindly said, look, let's celebrate your actual birthday a little bit later. So I was like, yeah, sweet. So we celebrated that on Friday, had a really nice day. And then Saturday, it was another friend getting married. So celebrated that. And then on Sunday, another friend, it was her birthday. And also she had finished her accountancy exams. Shout out to Anna for completing her ACCA exams.
Congrats, Anna.
Fully qualified accountant. And she, we thought we would celebrate that. So we went to a bottomless brunch. What does that mean to you, bottomless brunch?
Bottomless brunch. I'm assuming there was a lot of mimosas happening, Bloody Marys that are nonstop until you pass out. Am I right?
Well, I mean, I'm a responsible drinker, so I don't know if that's going to happen. But yeah, essentially, they say to you, like, you pay your money, right? And then they tell you you've got 90 minutes for this bottomless deal, which I think is, it introduces a sort of a jeopardy. There's a competition element to it. So you don't want to lose money on this deal. You know, you want to get as much as you can for your money. But anyway.
You're being as gluttonous as possible with your friends, in other words.
Precisely. So needless to say, a good time was had by all. How was
but I think though you are at an advantage because you are a vegetarian, right? And if there's a lot of like meaty options and your friends are like going in on some sausage and ham and you're more of the lighter, I feel like that's not truly like fair.
Yeah.
Well, but then you have to tell me who won.
Yeah. Well, then I'm taking advantage of the drinks. That's where I win my money back, essentially.
Okay.
But no, I think traditionally there isn't much focus on the food anyway. It's more like, you have some food, but it's the drink is the high value item. So so that's what we went for. But yeah, so it wasn't particularly restful, but it was fun. And then obviously having the Monday off was nice because then we got to recover from that busy weekend. But so how was yours? What did you get up to?
Oh, it was lovely here. I went to a local baseball team. I think they're the minor leagues for the Chicago White Sox. So it turned out to be like a 4-hour-long game, which is unheard of for minor leagues. And here in Charlotte, they have their stadiums right in the center of the city. So you've got like all the skyscrapers and everything while you're in the baseball stadium. And then at night, they always have a really, really great fireworks show. So of course, we're just like sitting through 4 hours of this ongoing game. Like, we just want to see the fireworks at this point. Definitely got a hot dog that was undercooked. Lessons learned, watch for the hot dogs that are actually turned. Yeah, don't get a hot dog if you haven't seen it. That's what we learned.
A static hot dog. Do not touch a static hot dog.
Don't do the No, I wanted to enjoy the rest of my weekend. So that was really nice. And then the next day we just kind of barbecued, grilled some steaks, some lamb, some healthy, some veggies and things like that. And there's a lot of, lots and lots of sports on. So watch the Knicks lose. That's it. NBA type stuff. Sorry.
New York basketball team. Yeah, for sure.
Good job. Yes.
I know what I'm talking about.
You know all the things.
Is that good when the Knicks lose? Do you enjoy that?
No, I'm from New York originally, so it's not good.
Ooh, bad times.
That's all right. We've got some good baseball going on. for New York. So I'll be happy with that. But yeah,
Giants?
no, it was the Giant. Oh, they're not really good right now.
No, they're not.
Neither are the Jets. So never mind. Maybe not. Not those teams.
So you're lying,
but
is what you're saying.
Baseball. We'll
the Giants, that's football. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Giants are football. Jets are football. We've got
Yankees?
the Mets. We've got the Yankees. Yes, go Yankees.
Okay.
Bronx Bomber. I don't like the Mets. We won't go into that. That's a whole thing.
Okay.
So. But yeah, there's a lot of great sports on. I saw there was like a UK cheese rolling contest that I am really confused about, and I don't understand what you guys are doing over there.
No, I don't think they understand what's really going on. So essentially what's happening is there's loads of different events of different like age groups. There's also men's event, women's event, and I think there's some mixed events, and there's a ton of them. Anyway, essentially what you're doing, I think it's either Cornwall or Somerset, and there's a really steep hill, grassy hill, and essentially what they're doing is rolling a wheel of cheese down, and then a bunch of people just running down the hill after it. And
they're not running; they are like
exactly.
Getting concussions.
I would say it's kind of at a certain point it's involuntary. The motion that's happening. Yeah. So essentially, but yeah, they're just sort of chasing this cheese down a hill. It is brutal. Like people breaking their arms, they're losing teeth. Honestly, if you go on YouTube and you search for it, there's a channel that did like a super, super slow-mo video of it. And you can see these people doing this stuff. Yeah, it's not something I would be. I think I took the best option of the with my activities, and so did you. I wouldn't want you to attempt that.
I don't think that would be good for AVIXA TV would not be happy with missing teeth and a black eye. I don't think that's a good look, but No,
you don't want to do that. But speaking of lots of sports as well, there was also the Formula One this weekend, the Monaco Grand Prix, which it's a contentious one because you can't really do much overtaking. It's almost impossible to overtake. And they tried to introduce these new rules to sort of spice it up a bit, which was you have to change your tires more often than the standard tire change. And it was a bit boring.
Really?
But it was,
That's not the one that they drink the milk or anything. They don't do that in Formula One.
Yeah, see, if you had said that to me 5 minutes ago, I would have had no idea what you're talking about. But just before this call, we spoke with our producers about, I think it's the Indy 500, right? And they drink milk.
Something like
when
that.
When they win.
It's so bizarre. I don't understand. Yeah, chugging milk after you won something. Like, we're not going to champagne. I feel like the Stanley Cup people, they know what they're doing. They put the champagne or the beer, maybe. Sorry, it's not that classy. I think it's just beer. Maybe it's beer and champagne.
Formula One.
And they're all
Formula One is more like
it's
always champagne, unless it's in like countries where they don't have alcohol. Then they just have like some kind of fizzy drink. But they do drink champagne at the end of the race. But some people like to drink it out of their shoe. So they'll take the champagne and pour it in the shoe. They call it a shoey. And you drink it out of the shoe. Sometimes they'll share it around. Sharing the shoe is...
It's the shoe that they actually wore, or is like a new shoe?
The last 2 hours, yeah. Well, they were driving.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, so it gives it a little flavor.
Not down with that.
But anyway, it was that this weekend. I mean, it's an iconic race. The Monaco Grand Prix is one of those things. But that leads me very nicely onto our first segment, because our colleague, Carey, also the producer of this podcast, of course, she spoke to Riedel, who are, a lot of their products are actually involved in the Formula One. And I'm not going to try and recite all the things that they spoke about in the interview, because they did go into some depth on those products. But it was a really interesting interview, and I think we should have a look at it now. What do you reckon?
Yes, let's go ahead and do that. Let's check it out.
I'm Carey Johnson, and today I'm joined by Ben Gabrielson. Hi, Ben. Can you tell me a little about yourself?
Hey, Carey. Yeah, I'm Ben Gabrielson with Riedel Communications. I am the head of vertical sales here at Riedel. Been with the company for about 3 years. I live in Arizona, so we're kind of spread out a little bit within Riedel, but our headquarters are in California. I'm just here in the desert doing my thing. So happy to be with you. Thanks for having us.
That I could not live in the desert, I will say. I am
It's a
fine
dry
with
heat.
the humidity. Yeah, I'm good with
It's a
the
dry
humidity
heat.
on the East Coast. Dry
Yeah.
heat, not my favorite. So Riedel actually has an incredible origin story, starting in a garage and growing into a global player. Can you provide our audience with a brief description of where Riedel was and where it is today?
Yeah. It's I think stories are actually what make up the magic of Riedel in general, and the origin story is one of my favorites. So we were founded in 1987 by Thomas Riedel. Big year. I was actually born that year as well. He was 17 years old in his garage in Wuppertal, Germany. Actually, was working as a local DJ and musician, and he got his hands on the first Motorola radio, became one of the biggest resellers, actually, of one of our main competitors still today in Europe. He saw a way to elevate and innovate that product and did it on his own, started his own company right out of his garage. So it's something that we get to hear a lot of within Riedel. Is not only is he the founder, Thomas Riedel, but he's also still the sole owner of the company, because that spirit, that entrepreneurial spirit that he had is still a main core of how we like to function today and operate. So it's a fun story.
Yeah, no, that is fun. I think that's kind of like Steve Jobs in a sense, right? Starting in the
Yeah.
garage, right? Same level, same kind of level.
Exactly. I don't think he wore mock turtlenecks all the time, but yeah, similar story. Yeah.
So along with a cool backstory and foundation, you do work with some of the coolest names in the business. Can you share a standout use case or project that shows what Riedel is capable of today?
At Riedel, there's no shortage of cool stories, cool projects, events, customers. So it's kind of a wild ride, honestly, year after year. But we work with some of the biggest names around a lot of different verticals: sports, houses of worship, broadcast networks, and rights holders. There's a lot that happens, obviously, within the live production space and live event space. So Formula One is probably one of our biggest customers. Mostly we say that because it actually is one of our first customers back in 1993. So the first product that Thomas Riedel ever made it's called the Reface. It's a interface between intercom and radio networks. That was something that he put into Formula One, back before it was as big as it is now, especially in the U.S. So as we talk about the U.S. in terms of brands and customers, though, I mean, it's the biggest global sporting event that happens every 4 years, right? We're a pretty big presence within that. All four of the major professional leagues and organizations here in the States, an up-and-coming organization that's called SailGP, which is kind of like the Formula One in the water, sailboats, right? Racing around the country or actually around the globe. They have events all around the world. That's a huge customer, I guess, but mostly a partner within Riedel. They leverage almost every piece of technology that we distribute and sell. So
with Formula One, I was born in 1991. So if we're going back to the birthday
there we
thing,
go.
I'm only 2 years older than that deal. But going back to the U.S. market, and you brought up sports with collegiate sports and house of worship. Can you share more about your strategy in those areas?
Yeah, we've been able to, especially again in the U.S., right? There's a little difference between Riedel is a global company, but obviously for us, we call us the product division is a certain arm within Riedel. And on the U.S. side of things, or I should say even the North American side of things, we view ourselves as our own market, right? Things are a little bit different here than they are in Europe. So we identified some of these verticals that have had a lot of success leveraging our products for certain reasons within their certain workflow, specifically the house of worship, education space. So we're talking college athletics, theaters around campus, all those seem to be some of the bigger ones that we're now seeing an uptick, if you will, in terms of people being able to leverage our technology. And we're listening to what exactly it is that they need in those aspects. So we've got a few new things at this show, specifically InfoComm, that we're going to be showing. We'll talk about that in a bit, I'm sure. But leveraging and actually integrating a lot of our products together now. That's kind of been a main theme for us. So we've got an Emmy award-winning, I should say, a product called Bolero, which is our wireless communication belt packs and system that can now integrate with a wired product of ours called Punctum. So now you can kind of have this wireless and wired types workflow right within the intercom world. Same with the video side. So now video, we have a lot of edge devices, so IP gateways and things of that nature, right, that can collaborate with our live production tools. So we have replay, we have ref review, things that now within the sports world, you can kind of combine together. So that's, I think, the future of Riedel, right, is we're able to now take these different pieces and products lines that we've been able to mesh together. And now we're having them talk to each other and have basically essentially a full-blown live production system, no matter what you're trying to do. So another product line of ours that's brand new this year is called StageLink. It's essentially, as I talk about this theme of meshing together and integrating a lot of these products.
So you've actually got a lot going on at the booth this year, from product launches to some fun extras. What should people stop by to see or experience?
Yeah, we've got a lot of exciting stuff to show at the booth this year. And honestly, if you get to the end of this interview and you still think Riedel is an intercom only company, then honestly, I can't help you. But we're showing a lot. So we've got all the fun intercom toys, of course, the Emmy award-winning Bolero wireless intercom. It's used pretty much everywhere, major sporting events. We talked about F1 racing, those award shows with the tiny little gold statues that hold the sword, theme parks, especially the one that's in town there with the big mouse, all those fun things. So my thing is, if you haven't heard intercom through a Bolero yet, come and try it out. The audio quality is just there. So we're showing that. The Artist Audio Matrix, which is kind of the brains behind everything in the intercom world. It's software defined, supports up to 1,024 ports of audio. It works with Dante, Matty, AS67, the whole gang, right? So got that. Punctum is our digital wired intercom party line system. Now integrates with Bolero standalone. So that's a huge deal for these verticals. They're showing a brand new wall panel for Punctum that people are really excited about. On the smart panel side, another big one, we call them smart panels because they're like a smartphone and they can do a ton of different functions. Intercom is one thing, of course, but audio monitoring, control, it's all in one device. We got a really cool partnership that we're showing off. It's an integration with a company called Beckoff, which is control systems. So they're supporting Riedel protocol now. So it's dynamically routing audio, but it's also triggering light cues and managing announcements, climate control, things in theaters, great for that, and AV environments. So we've got that. Brand new product line at InfoComm specifically is our StageLink family as well. They are essentially a smart I/O edge device, that little rugged boxes designed for live production and studio broadcast. Make it easy to add and move signals across generic IP networks. So it's perfect for anyone that's moving into IP-based workflows. 2-wire converters, 4-wire converters, universal GPIO for days, all that fun stuff. So really cool products that you can actually touch and feel now at the booth. On the video side, a lot of people are really starting to learn that we're pretty good at video too. So we've got a product line called MeteorNet. It's our distributed video solution that provides all the benefits of IP system with the simplicity of SDI. Got some major sports arenas in North America now that are actually using this for a full decentralized routing system. Horizon is the product line within that kind of bridges IP and SDI. We've got Fusions that handle the edge device stuff, very flexible, all software defined. We've got 5G at the booth this year, which is brand new. A company called Easy 5G that is now part of the Riedel family. Private 5G network, super cool. And of course, we've got our RefCam, which is a technology that is now being used in actually some major European soccer leagues. It's a little in-ear camera that referees are using. So it's broadcast ready, low latency. It's also very fun to play with at the booth and just try on and walk around. Last but not least is our live production suite. It's called Simply Live. Covers everything from live switching, replay, ref review, which is huge in sports these days. It's all touchscreen based, super intuitive, can run on-prem and cloud, hybrid. Essentially, a single show can be run by one operator, very cost effective.
the fun stuff is, right, happy hour is going to be Thursday at 4 o'clock at the booth, which is 4947 is our booth number. And then on the giveaway side, we've got a carry-on suitcase that is bright Riedel red. It's called a Ramona, and it's what it is. It's like a $1,200 carry-on suitcase that you can take a little survey, get in the drawing and the running for that to win that at the end of the show. So
thank you so much for taking time to talk to me today. And I hope everyone is able to check out all of the cool things going on at Riedel. I will definitely be entering the survey to get a suitcase. I love one.
Yeah. Bright Riedel red.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Thank you, Ben.
Awesome interview as always, and not to get carried away. So looking forward. See, Ben, you were supposed to laugh there, right? I think my jokes are great. I think
they
fabulous.
are fantastic, your jokes.
Thank you. I try. So definitely looking forward though to that giveaway at Riedel. Hey, they're gonna hire me soon. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna be on like Comedy Central. They don't even do comedy shows there, right? We'll leave that alone.
What, in Comedy Central?
Yeah, not anymore.
That's false advertising then, surely.
It is, I know. But what is not false advertising is that giveaway that Riedel is going to be doing for their red suitcase. I'm really excited about that. I never have enough, and I always have too much to bring to InfoComm. So definitely check that out.
And also very cool if you need something to pick up all the other swag that you get around the show, because there's always tons of stuff to take. Maybe just, bringing some souvenirs home. But very cool. I look forward to seeing who's the lucky recipient of that.
Yes.
Who do we have next?
Definitely up next, we have Mark with AVIXA, and he's going to be talking to Plexus AV. They're going to chat a little bit about some AV over IP topics, as well as bandwidth challenges that people are seeing in the industry, as well as what attendees can expect to see at InfoComm. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at that?
Let's have a look.
Well, I'm joined now by Stephen Cogels. He's the Global Director of Business Development at Plexus AV to talk a little bit about their plans for InfoComm 2025. Stephen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing well. Can't wait. We are less than 1 month away from InfoComm as of the time that we are recording this. It's coming up really fast. You feeling prepared? You ready to go?
Yeah, we're feeling the pressure. We're also very much looking forward to it. It's always a great opportunity to talk with our customers and to talk to people from the industry. So on one side, yes, let it come in as soon as possible. On the other side, probably need a day or two more.
Yes, we are at AVIXA. We feel very much the same way as you do. So we're very much the same in that sense. Let's talk a little bit about, again, Plexus AV's plans for InfoComm, but also want to talk a little bit about IPMX open standards. Obviously, this is a big priority. Plexus AV has gone all in, I would say, on IPMX. What is driving that choice and that decision, and what do open systems offer that closed systems don't?
Well, so it's probably about 3 years ago when we set out to plot a way back into the Pro AV market. Our parent company, Sencor, a 75-year-old organization, had been in the Pro AV industry for a while and then kind of moved out of it. And in the broadcast space, as you might know, like you do signal distribution to a lot of viewers worldwide, nationwide, right? So to be able to get those signals from A to B, there has to be interoperability, but because not everybody has the same TV or the same set-top box, right? So the DNA of the company is interoperability. We deal with interoperability for forever. That's kind of like how it feels. So coming from the broadcast space, that's part of our DNA. Interoperability, by definition, just creates black boxes between vendors to work together with each other, right? And although in the Pro AV industry, we've been doing that from a control perspective for a while, right? With a control system on top of multiple vendors' products. And then it kind of all feels like one system for the user. It isn't really, because it doesn't really work together on audio, video, or even deeper layers of interoperability. It kind of future-proofs that the functionality for the end user and creates opportunities for integrators and consultants at the same time to really understand the technology. So yeah, that's the reason why we selected an open standard. And IPMX at the time was relatively early, and we decided to jump on that as one of the early adopters.
That's fantastic, yeah. And we've been hearing an awful lot about IPMX open standards, especially as AV systems become more and more complex, right? As IT continues to become a bigger part, networked AV, all of those things. I mean, these are pretty complex systems at this point. And so I would think having that kind of flexibility as opposed to kind of being caged in and almost like a walled garden would be more beneficial, right? As you're designing an AV system.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It kind of gives options, right? I think the supply chain challenges that we've had because of COVID and the results of that kind of proven that it's not always the smartest move just to be depending on one single manufacturer, and for that kind of proves why interoperability is important, right? It kind of gives you options without having to go and redesign the entire system. So yeah, that's the interesting part. If we look at like bigger or complex environments or organizations like university or large corporations, right? They kind of want to standardize, right? They want to make sure that in multiple countries worldwide, they're kind of using the same technology. But by doing so, you're standardizing and you're kind of locking yourself down at the same time because you're making yourself vendor dependent. And with IPMX or IPMX-based AV over IP solutions, you have the option to move from one supplier to the other supplier because of the native interoperability that is embedded inside of an open standard.
Yeah, well, and you think too about just the ways that these systems evolve so rapidly nowadays, right? That, I'm sure there are challenges and problems that we're not foreseeing 2 or 3 years down the road that are going to come up. And so that flexibility, I would think, supply chain was a great example, but I think just the way the technology is so rapidly evolving has got to be another benefit to being able to be flexible and be able to find the right technologies to fit what your needs are, correct?
No, absolutely, because you need to think about an open standard as a framework, right? It's a bunch of set of rules and agreements that you set, but it doesn't really limit towards the future, right? So it's not you're designing for a 1 gig, a 10 gig, or a 40 gig, or a 25 gig solution. You're not really deciding specifically a codec, because in IPMX this will change over time, right? In 3 years' time from now, a different codec might be cheaper to do, more effective, more compatible. And inside of IPMX, as a standard, AIMS can decide to implement additional codecs and additional functionality. Of course, what you buy today is what you buy today. But if you invest in IPMX as your core technology stack, then you have all that flexibility towards the future.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned there the different, levels of bandwidth. Let's talk about that a little bit more because, it's obviously a challenge once you get beyond kind of one video streams over 1 gigabit. How are you all tackling that different maybe than others within this space?
Well, I would kind of already argue that even if you're below 1 gig, which is the majority of the market, if you look at AV over IP, right, you already have challenges. As long as it's like in room or a new build, then moving streams that are 750 megabits or even more from A to B is typically not a problem. But when you have existing links between buildings, when you have existing links on a campus, and when you have links between locations which might not be close to each other or even like in different countries, then moving 750 megabits times 10, right, is going to be sheer impossible. So what we've implemented is what we call a high compression stream. This is an H.264, H.265 secondary stream, like a mirror of the main high quality, lowest latency feed that we're sending out. And that is user configurable. So you can decide if it's going to be 5 megabits or 10 megabits or 20 or 50. But that gives you a lot of flexibility because those streams can travel even over bandwidth constrained networks, right? So in, for instance, a corporate LAN, even if there's a bottleneck somewhere on the network, we can get through the bottlenecks using our high compression streams.
Yeah. Well, and you all talk a little bit too about just the need to have kind of an openness, not just with the open standards, but towards different technologies. And we kind of touched on this a little bit just in terms of the things 2 and 3 years down the road that maybe we can't anticipate. But obviously the technology is just changing so rapidly. So why is it that openness is key, not just for networked AV, but for AV in general. Always being kind of open to new technologies, new ideas, as far as how it's going to shape the industry as a whole.
Well, I think from our perspective, being open towards other technologies, being open towards other protocols is something that kind of comes natural for us, because there's not like using a Lord of the Rings comparison. Like there's no single ring to rule them all, right?
Yes, let's go with the Lord of the Rings. Absolutely.
Yes. My wife would thank me for this later on, but she's a big fan. So you can't just pretend that your technology, even if it's IPMX, right, that it's the only one out there and that's the only one people should care about. No. There's a lot of other technology out there. There's a lot of IP-based technologies and protocols out there. Some are very common, right? RTSPs in cameras and the IHX, all those different formats. So we really decided to, instead of blocking those other technologies and just trying to push our own agenda, to say like, no, we're gonna embrace those other technologies. So when we go towards H.264, H.265, what we've done with our high compression stream that we just talked about, then you're opening up a huge opportunity to be compatible with a lot of streaming services out there, with a lot of existing camera feeds out there. In general, like any IP feeds, even coming from a camera, right, from a security camera, could be made compatible with IPMX as long as it's within H.264, H.265. So that interoperability, that native interoperability that we get with IPMX, we kind of combine with connectivity, extra connectivity. And the key thing behind that is like when something is already video, audio, and control data streaming over an IP network, why would we need to go back to HDMI or SDI and then re-encode, which is still happening in a lot of cases. I would say almost every installation has one of those situations right now. So that's why that's key. And it's key because we want to utilize the network as much as possible. So why would we go back to baseband again?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to lie, you've just blown my mind with that Lord of the Rings analogy. I'm going to be thinking about that one for quite a while. Let's talk a little bit about your booth. What can visitors expect when they stop by Plexus AV down in Orlando?
Well, so first of all, the ability to talk to the team behind the product, right? I think that's key. We don't just bring the sales team. We bring two of the key product managers will be there. So if somebody wants to share ideas and brainstorm about new products, new features, all that kind of stuff, that's available on our booth. And of course, live demos of the existing systems. So our AVN4, IPMX, JPEG XS, and TDC transceivers will be on display. We'll be routing the singles live. Our visual array, which is our management platform, and also a live demo of Stream Conversion Gateway. Stream Conversion Gateway is our software that takes care of the protocol conversion. So you'll be able to see actual feeds running from third-party devices, creating different protocols into the Stream Conversion Gateway, and then feeding back into our IPMX-based network and vice versa. And next to that, we're also introducing new products because there's another technology that we are allowing or that we're building or onboarding or bolting onto our IPMX solution, which is HT-based-T. Of course, been out there for a long time. We've built a HT-based-T gateway, so essentially gateway between HT-based-T technology and IPMX networks. And on top of that, we're also going to be showing our wall plates that we're developing, which are HT-based-T 3.0 as well, and we'll have USB-C and HDMI inputs, including auto switching, Ethernet bridge for local area network insertion, all those great things. So there's a lot of things to check out on our booth.
Yeah, well, that's great to know. Yeah, even just like you said, and we've talked about this in terms of the complexity of these solutions. It's not just about providing new technologies and things. It's really providing that know-how and being a resource for people. So that's great to know, yeah, that it's not just going to be new technologies, but you're going to have the right people there at the booth. So please be sure to stop by if you are going to be in Orlando. Stop by the Plexus AV booth. Stephen, really appreciate the time. We'll be seeing you down in Florida real soon.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you again to our colleague Mark there. excellent job as always. All this stuff and all this talk about these interviews and amazing stuff that you're going to see at the show, I am genuinely sad that I'm not going to be there. It sounds like it's going to be an amazing show, so much cool stuff to see, so many cool giveaways. And speaking of the show, next week is our last episode before the show.
Can you believe
and we
it?
I can't believe how quick it's gone. We have Sony coming in for a very special episode. And Sam, I believe you're going to be sitting down with them and talking and guiding that one. So really looking forward to seeing that. And still can't believe that I'm not going to be there this year.
Well, Ben, you will definitely be missed. You are my partner in crime for AVIXA TV, but I know you'll be watching the live stream when you're not doing the wedding thing. And I know you can watch it now this year in 3 different languages. So you have a bit of variety. But I think this brings this episode to a close. It's been wonderful, as always, recording with you. So on behalf of Ben Barnard, I'm Sam Powell, and thank you all so much for watching Backstage Pass. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.